Today we've got a good one. We're speaking with AJ Cassata, co-founder of Revenue Boost, an outbound agency that has helped over 450 B2B companies grow their pipeline. He started in sales at just 19, going door to door, and was running a 15-person sales team by 23. He's an investor in Clay, an Instantly partner, and built one of the top selling cold email and LinkedIn courses with Founder. Now, AJ, everything is good right now.
Cool.
Look, so I already asked you the question. I'm not sure if you heard it, so let me repeat. Where do you see agencies be in the next 2 to 3 years with all this advancement in AI tech and AI tools getting better and better, where business owners can do a lot of things themselves right now? So do you see agencies being relevant in the near future?
Yeah, that's a great question. And every agency should be thinking about this question, right? I don't see agencies ever becoming irrelevant. I just see the role of the agency changing, right? So a lot of business owners can now do their own marketing with AI, right? You can go into ChatGPT and within 30 minutes, you can have social posts, cold emails, a new website, homepage copy, a marketing plan, market research. You can have everything, right? But is it going to be very good? Is it going to be the same quality that a high quality agency will produce for you? Definitely not, right? Because think about this. If any business can just go to ChatGPT and get their cold emails written or get their social media posts written, well, every other business is doing that as well. And everyone's going to produce the same stuff. That's why a lot of times you go on someone's website now and it looks like the same AI generated stock websites and the same copy and the same photos, right? And you see this in the cold emails you get too. You see a lot of cold emails have the same patterns. So yes, the barrier to entry to produce marketing deliverables has gone down. And yes, a lot of more companies are using AI to do their own marketing, but it's also not going to be very good, right? You still need AI, you still need a good operator to do the thinking and the strategic work. So agencies that are good at doing the strategy work and the thinking and the creativity behind the deliverables, those are the ones that win. But if you run an agency and you just produce pretty basic deliverables, like pretty simple social media posts or like a pretty basic cold email campaign, then yes, you're in trouble because now ChatGPT can do what you do. So question for everyone is, if you look at the work you do for your clients as an agency, if ChatGPT can do the same quality work you can, then you're in trouble and you need to up your skill level and up your game, right? But if you look at what ChatGPT can do and you know that, hey, my work is way better than this because we do all of this and we have top talent that does the strategy and the market research and all this, then, you're going to be in pretty good shape. You might have to still be aware of how to handle that objection. You might have less clients coming to you or some clients thinking that they can do it themselves. And you have to be prepared to talk about that in your sales calls. But I don't think agencies are in trouble. And I don't imagine agencies are ever going to really be replaced by AI because a real good agency, it can just do way more than what an AI tool can do. And obviously AI is going to get better.
Yeah. What I'm trying to understand is there could not be a world where everyone's using the same tools, getting good outputs, and it working, right? So there should be something that is getting missed. And I want to challenge you a little bit on the fact that when you say, oh, AI, you can understand when AI is writing a certain copy, you can understand it from, let's say, a cold email. But do you think that this is still going to be the case in the future when models are getting better and better? They have more and more contacts. So now the agentic, patterns can evolve where it will do the research, try to analyze, okay, what are the best practices around the world and assemble the best campaigns. Now, so that possibly any business will have the best possible campaigns. And I just don't see this working. I agree with you, but I'm trying to where is it? Is it new thing creation? What is it?
That's a really good question. Yeah. So what I'm hearing is, hey, in today's day and age, agencies aren't getting replaced by AI, or at least the good ones, right?
Yeah.
But what happens in 3 to 4 years when it's way better and then these agentic systems can produce amazing campaigns, right? At the end of the day, AI doesn't come up with ideas, right? So that's the real true value of a consultant or an agency, right? Is you have to be the one to come up with the ideas in the first place, and you have to also do the quality control, right? So we've all had an experience where we've used AI to create something. Let's say it's a cold email campaign, and we're like, that was terrible. It just made something up, or it was really bad, or it was mediocre. Obviously, most of the time it's very good, But we've all had those occasional experiences where it hallucinates or it just produces work that's just really bad, right? If you give all the keys to AI and you don't have an agency or professional marketing person looking over the work, then you're taking that gamble, right? So no matter what, you always still need a human in the loop. And people have studied this, right? Like the way that LLMs are built, they say that you can't solve hallucination. Like it's always going to have some percentage of hallucination, which means you always need to have humans managing the work and looking over it. So I would say as AI gets better, it'll get better at taking away more of the tasks in the workflow that otherwise a human could do, right? Which means that agencies have to be able to offer more value. But the original idea generation, like knowing what work to do and what the idea should be around that work, right? And then actually checking the final product, like I don't see any way that we're going to have AI replace that. I don't know anyone that's had AI produce an original idea, right? Like, do you know anyone that's had AI actually say, oh my God, AI came up with a new solution to a problem we didn't know existed? It's not able to do that because it's only working off pattern recognition from existing stuff, right?
Interesting. What I'm hearing from you also is basically the actual physical deliverable, which is, sending emails, setting up the infrastructure or, producing the ad creatives or like building a website. So all of these things will get commoditized. But to assemble it in a strategy, this is where the leverage will lay. And so then the follow-up question, because you work with a lot of agencies, you talk, I know that you have a good network. So do you see agencies who are driving revenue for other companies going into more of this, holistic marketing approach where they cover multiple areas, or they still try to, handpick just like one very specific like marketing channel and not worry about like the sales and the strategy?
That's a good question. Yeah. If we assume AI is going to keep getting better and it's going to give agencies a run for their money, right? And it's going to take over more of the workflow, then that makes the argument for being a more holistic growth partner makes you a lot more safe and protected, right? Because if you're able to manage, let's say, cold email campaigns and help with the website and help with the creative strategy and help produce videos for your clients, just as an example, not saying you have to do all that, but just as an example, you can see why that would be a lot harder for some AI to produce all of that and do well and coordinate it very well, right? However, I don't think that necessarily means that a single lane agency, like an agency that only does cold emails, is going to necessarily suffer or struggle, because even within one specific service, you still need to have the strategy, right? And that's the keyword you mentioned, right? Strategy. That is the real value of a good agency. And it's the same nowadays, right? Like even before AI, there's agencies that just can, load up instantly, load up inboxes, domains, and write some quick copy. And then there's agencies that'll do that, but they'll also really do the market research and they'll really look at like patterns across industries and come up with the offer and the lead magnet and analyze the client sales process, see if they can be, converting more of the leads we're sending them, right? So, there's always been these two types of agencies that just produce deliverables and check a box, and agencies that do more of the strategic work and actually achieve a business result, right? AI will help you produce deliverables, but AI is not able to achieve the actual entire business result. There's a lot more domain expertise required with that. So even before, there's always been these two types of agencies, and the deliverable producing agencies have always kind of struggled compared to the agencies that can own the end result. And now you're just going to see that divide happen more and more. So it's kind of like, you could look at it like it's almost a trend that's been happening, but will just continue to happen more.
Makes sense. Everyone who's watching, again, don't forget, like and subscribe. We are live on YouTube, X, and LinkedIn. Also, in the description, you will see the coupon code to get the 10% off of your first instantly purchase. Now, AJ, so give me some bad news. I mean, what do you see in terms of the agency service that is getting killed like already? Okay, that is, getting completely demolished. And if people are considering, or if they are within this, niche, they just needs to move away, because we understood, okay, so the strategy, something creative, got it. Is there something, specific? Because you talk a lot about different agency models.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. I'm trying to think of some bad news. I tend to just be very optimistic, right? So who knows what I'm saying? I mean, well, first of all, anyone that says they know what's going to happen with AI is wrong, right? I'm giving you my best prediction based on my experience, but I tend to believe things are pretty optimistic, just because I've yet to see the downside. I've yet to see clients telling me we're letting you go because AI is going to do it. I haven't had one client say that, right? Because of the work we do is more than just what an LLM could do, right? But if I had to say maybe which types of agency models or online businesses might suffer a little bit more, you could say maybe a marketing service that's more manual, task driven and monotonous, like SEO, right? Or web dev, like coding a website, right? I would say, if anything, those would be the more susceptible to AI, replacing them, right? But even still, think about this, right? Like if there's an agency that's really good with SEO like you've probably maybe tried some AI SEO tools, right? There's a bunch of them out there.
Yeah.
And anyone's able to get good results with a fully AI driven SEO process probably also is a really good SEO team, and they know how the AI should look and how it should be run, right? So you still need an expert behind the wheel, right? You still need an expert to even like create these tools in the first place, right? I think, yeah, maybe if you're an agency that produces like just basic one-page websites or 3 to 5 page websites, and you're not really doing much work on like the branding or the creative or the positioning side, then yeah, you're more likely to be in trouble, because nowadays there's Lovable, and now even Claude can do that for you, right? So I think, yeah, the simpler and the more linear your workflow is, the more you are at risk to be taken over by an AI.
Yeah.
But no matter what you're doing, there's still some strategy work. There still needs human to QC those things, right? So I would say those would be the more susceptible. But overall, I think if you just take the mindset of delivering business results versus delivering a deliverable, you'll be in pretty good shape.
Got it. Do you think it is harder to scale an agency from 0 to $50,000 a month, or from 50 to 200,000?
Yeah, I would say they just come with different levels of hard. I would say going from 0 to 50 is definitely more hard work, because it's just you. Like when you start a business, everything falls on you. Marketing, sales, finance, finding product market fit, right? And then it gets a little easier when you hire employees, or so you think, but then you have to manage those employees, and there's a whole skill set that comes with that, right? So it's more effort in the beginning, because you just have to brute force your way to getting to 6 figures. And then beyond that, it becomes just a different kind of hard. Then it's more about managing and leading people and thinking a little bit more strategically. It sounds cliche, but working smart versus working hard, right?
Okay, yeah.
In the beginning, if you're doing everything, you have to work insane hours just to get everything done. But when you have a team, like, you shouldn't really be working 80 hours a week. You should be thinking and slowing down and thinking about your team members, how you can support them, innovating the business, and you need a clear head to do that, right? So yeah, it's definitely a great question, but I just feel like it's a different kind of hard. But I do feel like things overall get easier, because when you have more money, you obviously can hire smart people to solve problems for you, and then it's not all falling on your shoulders, right?
You talk a lot about ChatGPT search, right, in the new era. What is the difference, generally speaking, that you see of businesses trying to optimize for an AI to do the search versus what used to be the best practices for them to optimize the website, to work on the backlinks, to optimize for the SEO, which is search engine optimization, versus the AI?
Yeah, that's a good question. I have been posting about this recently, as we've been getting some more clients coming to us that have found us on ChatGPT or Claude when looking for a B2B marketing agency or cold email expert. And I'll just give a disclaimer that I'm not an SEO expert. I have a team that does this. So I'm just going to share what I've observed from working with them and what's worked for us. But I'm not the guy to give you the technical nitty gritty of that, right? But essentially, from what I understand, it seems like generally the same things you would be doing to rank on Google are generally the same things that ChatGPT and Gemini are going to pick up from you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't seem to me like you really need to entirely change your strategy. If you're getting results ranking on Google, you just now have to track, are you ranking LLMs, and build a strategy for that, right? But the fundamentals largely seem to me quite similar. I do think one thing that's helped me, though, is that I do a lot of these things. Like, I hop on podcasts, and I think this is my 4th time being on the Instantly channel over the last 3-4 years. So it's been great, collaborating with you guys. It's always a lot of fun. But yeah, I do a lot of these, guest podcasts. I speak, virtual or in-person stages. And that also, I feel like, has helped me a lot with getting recommended in ChatGPT and Claude. One of the last I saw, the top 3 sources that ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude pull from is LinkedIn, Reddit, and YouTube, right? So those are 3 places you want to make sure you're showing up.
Right.
To summarize, it's kind of more like going beyond just your website, right? Which always was helpful. But in the beginning, if you're optimizing just your website to get shown on Google, now these LMs are going to look at the whole picture, right? So you also want to make sure that you're present on podcasts and you're present on, different industry events, right? Or other people's cite you as well. So I'm sure that was always important for traditional SEO, but I can see that being more important now, because these LMs are kind of looking at all of the internet, right?
Do you prefer ads or the cold outreach when it comes to proactive agency scaling? Once you found the traction, once you have the product market fit, the service market fit, would you recommend an agency to look into the paid ads, the paid acquisition, or go with the cold outbound, which is emails or cold DMs?
Yeah, I would say it kind of depends on the stage. So like, we have something we call an acquisition ecosystem, which is, we believe every company should eventually have, paid ads, organic content, as well as cold outreach, right? And if you look at any company that just keeps scaling and growing, like, they're going to have some mix of all 3, right? Eventually, right? Or my belief is that all of these things are good, and they just serve different purposes. They have different pros and cons, right? So it's not about, picking the best marketing channel, which I think confused a lot of people. A lot of people think they need to pick the perfect strategy, but They all work. It's just about what's going to work for you based on your needs at this time. Yeah. So I was going to say, like, they all have their place. It just depends on the right time. So again, to me, it's like all these things work together, and it's just about picking one, mastering it, moving on to the next, based on whatever stage you're at. So,
Got it.
yeah.
Got it. Now we're having a blitz. I'm going to be throwing questions to you. You can replay fast or expand on your answer. You ready?
Yes.
Would you start a brand new agency in 2026 or it's already too late?
It's never going to be too late for agencies. Agencies are always going to have a place. Good agencies, especially if it's your first business. I think a service business in general is the best business you can start. Your other options are e-commerce or software or a physical in-person business.
Do you still write cold emails yourself?
I have a team that does it. They do some of it themselves, and they use AI. They use AI to assist them, right? And if I ever am jumping in to help a client campaign, which is rarely, but sometimes I do, I'll also write it myself, but I'll have AI assist me. So we built our own copywriting bot with Claude, but we don't just have it write all of our copy. We still have humans, come up with the idea and then check the final product.
Best subject line you have ever tested or seen?
Some of the subject lines that stick out to me the most are the ones that mention something from my website or like a LinkedIn post. So if I've seen someone like use the keywords from a recent post of mine in the subject line, that one always gets me.
Okay. Retainer or performance-based model?
Retainer, definitely, or a hybrid retainer plus performance. Performance-based really just puts all the risk on you and not on the client. And it's easier to sell, but it's, in my opinion, not as good of a business model.
The best offer ever or the best marketing acquisition strategy?
Definitely the best offer, because if you have the best offer in the world, that is your acquisition strategy. You can just put it anywhere and it should, in theory, work, right?
What's the most you've ever charged for a single client?
I can say our highest paying agency client was 20 grand a month.
20 grand a month. And you were doing just cold outbound, cold emails, or you were pairing it with something else?
That was actually Facebook and Google ads.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The last one, Vietnam or Florida?
Oh, great question. You've done your research, Eugene. Well, we just moved to Florida, so I'll have to say Florida now, but I've spent 7 years in Vietnam and I've loved it. So I encourage everyone to get out to Asia.
Awesome. Where people can find you, AJ?
Connect with me on Facebook or LinkedIn, just my name, AJ Cassata. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I also have a YouTube channel, which is also my name, AJ Cassata.
Awesome, AJ. I appreciate you coming to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. It was fun.
Yep, take care.